afternoon, and welcome to another Super Secret Project sketch. This is Eric Whalen from Super Secret Project X, and it is a gray day at the end of a tiring week. Not complaining, just giving it to you straight. All right. So today, in this disturbingly quiet house, just actually kind of nice, but at the moment it's a little much. I'll be honest with you. We're going to do Ranma girl half. My favorite half. Now I like the dude. The dude's awesome, but girl half is kind of nice. So, how you doing, sweetie? So you're joining me?
Yeah.
We're doing the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those weeks, isn't it? Just yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I'll hear you. I'll hear you. All right. Girl half actually male half. Ranma has huge hair because 80s Rumiko Takahashi series. And I'm not complaining. She loves her the big hair. So, I'm going to make sure to draw my character's head a little smaller in the middle of the page. You know, to give some space for mega bangs.
Yeah, I actually read there was a bio, because apparently it was like either Rumiko Takahashi's, either her birthday or something where she's being honored.
That makes sense. She's been in the biz forever.
Yeah, she was. I can't remember. I actually saved it so I could read it for later. But yeah, it was a neat little thing of her getting honored, and went through all of her history of all the stuff that she's done, and yeah, she's a machine.
Yeah, she's one of those ones where and I'm not going to say she's the only major prolific female creator on the planet, but man, she is one of the top ones, isn't she? I mean, she's been going since the 70s, you know, and now I'm not saying I'm a fan of all of her work. I like some stuff more than others, but the stuff that I like quite a bit. Because she's a funny lady.
Yeah, she had they were talking about, because I know the latest iteration of her, I don't know if it's, I'm guessing that she has something to do with it, at least I hope so, the new Inuyasha series that just premiered this year, and it's literally a story that's continuing on with the main characters, except with their children this round. And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat, because...
Like Super Drama Rama. Total Drama Island, where they made them all kids.
No, this one is like not them being kids. They're children.
Oh, their kids,
yeah.
Not their kids.
Yeah.
See, I got messed up there. Okay,
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's kind of cheesy. All right, let's go with that. Maybe it's good.
No. No.
I'm not a huge Inuyasha fan, so it's not like I can sit there going like, I know everything about it. I just never got into that one for whatever reason.
Well, neither am I. When it was on, or when it was on Adult Swim, and when we actually had Cartoon Network and stuff, I got into watching it for a little bit. It was fun to watch, and it was a neat story and all. But yeah, Inuyasha, of course, the main character, the half human, half demon guy, and then the girl. Is it Kikyo? No, that's not Kikyo. Is the other chick.
You're gonna have to go on this one because honestly, I know very little about that series.
Yeah, sorry to all the Inuyasha fans. I'm butchering this because I am like
That's fine.
super. Well, I'm apologizing to the people out.
Yeah, it's just not possible that we know all this stuff, so
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
But I usually I do know, it's just that I am so just out right now. But anyway, the two main characters, Inuyasha and the girl, that they ended up having kids and stuff, or having a kid. A kid?
And pups? Having pups?
No.
Oh. Oh well.
It's like, see, it was their kid, or did they have two? 'Cause I know
A litter?
no, stop.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
It's but it mainly focuses on the children of the series, which is kind of neat because it's always neat to see a bit more lore into the stories that we love and all, and as long as it's good, it doesn't suck. Like with Avatar and Korra, we saw the kids and all that stuff, and that was always neat to see. So I'm a sucker for continuation stories.
Anyway,
Yeah. But
so when I was younger, someone let me, and this was, I was like 14, 13, whatever, so a while ago. VHS tapes were involved, that'll give you an idea. Someone let me borrow just one of their, here's a bunch of anime on a tape, most of it's Ranma. I'd never seen Ranma. The Japanese commercials were still on it. It was like fifth generation, and for the people out there who don't know what that means when you've copied a VHS tape at least 5 times onto later versions, degrading it over and over and over again. So the image gets blurrier and shakier, and the colors are going out, and
sounds a little wonky every once in a while.
sounds are wonky. That's right. And it was probably the first, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 episodes, and that was all I knew of Ranma for several years, was just those episodes. And it was, I believe it was fan subtitled, if I recall correctly, and God, it was just so good. And the funny thing is years later when I finally had a chance to see more Ranma, and the later episodes were great, but after about 20 something, the show just took a nosedive. I mean, I'm sorry if y'all out there really enjoy the entire series, but to me, the good Ranma is like the first 20 some episodes. After that, it just gets cheap, and the thing, it's just not as good to me. But man, the first 20 some episodes, the quality's really great, and the art's nice, and the animation, and the storytelling, and it's like they just pumped a ton of money into it. And my feeling is like the ratings monster showed up and yanked a lot of their funding or whatever, and that was probably the end of that. But they kept it going at a lesser degree, and the fights weren't as good, and it just kind of felt not as complete. But man, I just adored the music, the timing, the setup. Like like there were jokes in there that were slow, which is saying something, because a lot of anime, the jokes are like boom, 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 which is great. They're funny, but the first 20 some episodes of Ranma, there was that, but there was also really funny, slow burn jokes and scenes that were just slow, and it was kind of atmospheric and funny. Like some of my favorite ones are just like Ranma's dad in panda form, and Akane's dad are just sitting there, and they're like drinking tea, and one's a giant panda and one's just a guy, and it's just funny because there's a giant panda and a guy sipping tea, and it will sit there for like 10, 12 seconds, and you're just staring at it, and they just go sip, and that's it. Then they'll change to another scene because they know how kind of ridiculous it was, and they were willing to just stay on these jokes for like long periods, and it was really funny. And then there was the more obvious jokes, which nothing wrong with. They were very funny. But it was just, what I liked about Ranma is they did both. You had these wonderful moments of boom, 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 funny kind of high-paced jokes. And then you get these moments where it slows way down. And then it also had like really fun fights and really good like dramatic moments where characters were kind of getting screwed or kind of getting mad or kind of something bad was happening, and then they'd sit on it, and it wasn't meant to be funny, and it was a real kind of story character moment, and it was just a good series. And then it kind of went downhill, and unfortunately not a lot of anime was made like it anymore, which is a shame because I really love those first, I don't know, 20, 22, 23 episodes. You can tell when it goes downhill because the animation just turns to garbage and the fights go away. And because when people say they don't see the difference, I'm like, really?
I think about
The first Ryoga fight is beautifully animated and timed, and they clearly spent a lot of time putting it together, and it was great. And then later fights was just all jerky and poor animation quality, and you were kind of like, okay, this isn't nearly as exciting, and okay. The series has gone downhill, which is a shame.
Yeah, I think I'll have to see. I'm gonna grab my phone so I can look for that link. So I actually think they talk about something like around that area. So you guys are gonna briefly see me on the back of the camera for a second. Make sure you can't see that.
Shield your eyes.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't see any of my jammies. My one piece of.
Check out those juicy jammies.
Yeah, I like Rama because you introduced me to it, and I liked it ever since, and I always thought it was a fun series. My one piece of Rama knowledge is from the English side. The lady who voiced the English dub of Shampoo, Kathleen Westlock, also does the voice of Spike the Dragon on My Little Pony, and is also the voice of the main character in Cyber 6.
Yeah, I always liked Shampoo. I think it was because she was so kind of shock cute and overly effeminate that she was kind of funny because she was just so like deviously. I liked her best when she was deviously evil. She was less entertaining when she was just sort of the cute girl that bounced around and said hiya a lot. But when she was like early on when she was devious, that's when I liked her. Always thought that was really funny, you know, just...
Here we go. All right, yeah, this thing is actually from the Vault of Midnight Comics in Grand Rapids. They actually did a nice little write-up about Takahashi, which I thought was really cool. And every time we've gone to Grand Rapids, I usually try and stop by Vault of Midnight because they're a really good comic place. They not only do they have like just a good selection, but they're just good people all in general, and they actually try and help out their community and stuff too. So usually try and stop by there, but we haven't been to Grand Rapids in a little while, of course. But yeah, but it says let's see, starting out with, let's learn about the legendary Rumiko Takahashi. What's that? Rumiko, sorry. I got my accents wrong on that one. A creative powerhouse and inspiration to many. Born in 1957 in Niigata, Japan, one wouldn't have guessed that Takahashi, who as a young girl doodled in the margin of her notebooks, would grow up to be such a prolific creator. During university, Takahashi enrolled in a manga school founded by creator of Lone Wolf and Cub, Kazuo Koike. Under his tutelage, Takahashi published her first doujinshi comic in 1975, with Koike's advice of creating characters who are well thought out and unique. How would they put this? Creating characters who are well thought out and unique would stick with her for the rest of her successful career. Takahashi's professional career began in 1978 with the publication of her one-shot Kate no Yatsura, for which she won the Shogakukan New Comics Award. Later that year, Takahashi debuted her first serialized series in the Weekly Shonen Sunday, the science fiction comedy Urusei Yatsura, which follows an alien named Lum who believes she is the wife of the protagonist Ataru Moroboshi, which is another good series she does. During that series run, Takahashi lived in a very small apartment with 2 manga assistants, often finding herself sleeping in the closet due to the little available space. 1978 saw Takahashi publishing a slew of short stories such as Time Warp Trouble, Shake Your Buddha, and The Golden Gods of Poverty and Weekly Shonen Sunday, the home of the majority of her popular
Golden
comics.
Gods of Poverty.
Yes.
I've not heard of that. That is amazing.
Maisa no Koku, Takahashi's second major series, began publication in 1980. Intended to be more mature, the romantic comedy series was inspired by Takahashi's own experiences living within an apartment complex. Working on Maisa no Koku and Urusei Yatsura simultaneously, Takahashi concluded both series in 1987, with Maisa no Koku spanning 15 volumes and Urusei Yatsura ending at 34 volumes. And let's see, trying to think of, here we go. Takahashi made her mark in the short story manga world during the 80s, publishing several that were later adapted into original video animations, also known as OVAs.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe, what's up?
Yes, I didn't miss you too.
It says,
How should I take that?
let me see. Let me put my glasses on. He was saying he didn't miss us, as in, like, he caught us. He's watching with us.
Oh, I was like, dude, that's just me. I didn't miss you too. I'm leaving now. Click.
We didn't miss you too. What?
That was horrible. We're glad you showed up.
Yep, anyway.
I was really lost for a second. I'm going like, wow.
Yep. Yeah, apparently this was in in 2018, she was actually indicted into the Eisner Hall of Fame. So that's cool. And this year won the Grand Prix de la Ville de Angoulême, which is the one animation festival in France that I would love to go to someday, becoming only the second woman and second manga artist to win the award. Joe says that'll be your reaction. Would be that is. Hey, that wasn't cool.
I was like, I think I'm misreading this. That sounded mean.
Let me check.
I'm like, don't react, Eric. Don't react. Use
Block.
use the brain cheese. Use the brain juice. Use the brain juice. Leave the brain cheese for later.
I am getting annoyed with all these stupid spam mail that just been coming through the past couple of days. My favorite was this morning. I got one from supposedly Amazon that said Amazon with the Z and the A underscored, and then proceeded to speak to me in Spanish, telling me that my account was suspended, and then went, yeah, click here.
Dude, we're gonna rip you off. Press this button. Rip me off? Man, I haven't been ripped off in years. I'm all for this.
Let me see what this is about.
My God. All for a good ripping off. This sounds exciting.
Yeah, well, thankfully it's like only been that and iCloud, the usual weekly iCloud. I love the exact thing. Your account has been suspended for security reasons. Like, okay, sure, bro.
Like, this is pineapple.com.
I love the one video. A guy actually responded back to spam email just to see what would happen. And he was literally writing back to one of the scammers talking about, if you send this money here, and he was like, okay, all right, what do we need to do? Because I really want to get in on this. And I think it was like several weeks of him just going back and forth, and the guy just getting like constantly angry and more angry and angry, saying, no, you need to deposit the money here. Okay, wait a minute. Let me repeat this.
That's the way you should do it. Troll the trolls.
Yeah, if I had the time in a much more secure network, trust me, I would be messing with them so much, but nah. Don't have the time nor the money to secure and all that. Just want to make sure that we're safe.
Mhm.
I just want to do stuff. My art stuff.
Leave the monsters in the shadows.
Oh, man. I'm trying to remember some of the funny with the funny Ranma stuff that I remember watching. That I just laughed at. Well, I remember when we did anime cons, and there was the Panda Chan cosplayer that was really kind of fun. This guy made a giant panda suit, and we just kind of hold the signs up, and we just kind of just sit there. And it's like, okay, that's pretty funny. Oh, excuse me. Didn't Jim do a Ranma cosplay at one point? For some reason I'm thinking that he did, but I may be wrong.
Shampoo.
Shampoo, yes.
I think that's what he made the giant knocker rig for, if I recall correctly. But I could be.
No, that was for Erd.
Was it? Oh, well, yeah, she is knockerific.
Yeah. Because Shampoo doesn't have any cleavage showing. She's covered up in the dress.
True. But she's got them, though.
Yes, she does. She's got it. Yeah, baby, she's got it. 80s flashback. Okay, I bought an entire box of these, the apple bars here, and they changed the flavor, and now it tastes like crud. It's very artificially, even more so than what the original one was.
In my opinion, if I get something that's fruit flavored, I don't want the artificial flavoring.
Yeah.
Even if it's subpar natural flavoring, don't give me the artificial. It tastes gross. It
Yeah.
just does.
It has a underlying something to it.
Doesn't seem right for summer.
This
Oh,
would be weird.
yeah. Well, they're both redheads. And to be fair, Rick is probably one of the only guys that could just, switch someone's sex back and forth. So if there's two series that should never interact, it's probably Rick and Morty and Ranma 1/2. Not entirely sure Ranma 1/2 needs that level of nihilism in it.
No. For the fact that pretty much 2/3 of the cast would be dead by the time they're done.
Yeah, that would be sad. It would be a sad, bad day. Sad and bad.
And for some bizarre reason, Ryoga just ends up on the spaceship because he gets lost.
Okay, looking up the artwork that I'm drawing from, and as much of a Ranma fan as I was for so long, it was so weird that I'd never thought of this. Somebody had done this image that it was an alternate version where clearly Ryoga ended up in the same pool that Ranma did, and it was the female Ranma and Ryoga was taller and his chest was bigger, and they're like pressed together, and he's like, "I finally beat you." I mean, it was such a stupid image, but it was funny because it was like the only way he could beat Ranma's like out chesting her. It was stupid, but I also looked at it and went, "That never occurred to me. That's funny,
That is.
Just like, wow, I feel kind of dumb for something so obvious never occurring to me. All the dumb fan stuff I've done over the years, that one never occurred to me. I'm like,
Now, since Ranma fell in there because the girl that was in there. So if somebody were to go in after him, would it be like that person or thing would turn into a human dude, or is it?
I'm
just
sorry, say that again.
The pool. It's like
Right.
the pool itself. It's the person that goes there gets changed into the last thing that died in there, or
The thing that died that cursed the pool is the thing that you turn into if you fall into it when you
Okay.
get wet. So in the case of Ranma, he fell into a pool where some teenage girl had fallen into and died.
right,
Ryoga fell into the pool where a pig fell in.
right.
Blah blah blah. And there's like 100 pools or something. And
Oh, okay, so they're different pools. Okay, 'cause
yeah,
I-
there's a bunch of different pools. Yeah, there's a place which is it's actually really neat looking. It's sort of the classical Chinese training ground with the hot springs and the different like rock formations and stuff. I mean, it's not like revolutionary or anything, but it's a neat cartoon location. And Oh wait, do you remember the Cursed Pools of Josenkyo, if I remember correctly? Oh, that's been a long time. I think I'm close at least. So yeah, so what they did is they had fun with it, and I'll be honest, I don't know the manga very well, but apparently there was one poor sap who fell into like 8 or 9 different pools and just turns into this complete monstrosity.
Right.
Like this chimera thing. It's just like the sequence of the splash, splash, splash. And it turns out to be he was this big, gigantic, horrific monster by the time the water hits it.
At least we got Summer reacting to him getting hit with warm water.
Yeah.
His dad fell into a pool. Yeah.
Well, it's either that. Well, we also know that Summer's really into dudes. I mean, she's really into dudes, and she's really into sometimes violent dudes. We know this. And so my thought is, Ranma is a punch machine. Female Ranma is a punch machine, but male Ranma, he's knuckled. He is well knuckled. He is a puncher. So she might really be into Ranma. I'm just saying, he's not a bad looking dude at all. He's square. He's handsome. He's beefy. Got that black hair thing going on. He's kind of
Kind of got the Bruce Lee thing going on.
He's like a young Bruce Lee, and and she's probably all into him, and then splash, and now she's horrified. I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm just saying that might be an explanation.
X gonna give it to you.
Let's go give it to you. Let's go give it to you.
I just had a really messed up crossover thought.
Mm.
The Ranma pools and the Lazarus pools from Batman somehow got switched.
Oh, that'd be great, because I'd love to see Batman mix Fruit Pie Batman.
Fruit Pie Batman.
Fruit Pie Batman falls into pool of what, Joe?
All right, we're waiting for you. We're waiting for the answer. We know we're on a delay, but we'll wait for the answer. Spin that
The
wheel.
fate of Fruit Pie Batman is sitting in your hands, man. What does Fruit Pie Batman turn into when he is splashed with cold water?
Spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel. What horrific thing.
He's catching up. 1 second. Yes. Let's go give it to you.
Mr. Needful is... That whole thing was amazing. I just love the fact that Rick out-Sataned Satan. Which is saying a lot.
All right, Joe's answer is pool of cursed woman who does 80s hair commercials.
Fruit Pie Batman. Splash. That is messed up, dude. I could see it, though. I could see Fruit Pie Batman getting into that action.
He's suddenly becoming all 4 pert plus.
These hair commercials. That's good.
Just exactly.
See, I'm starting to... Okay, this is funny. When I was younger, I wanted the Dark and Brooding Batman. Now that I've gotten Dark and Brooding Batman times like 800, there's been like 800 Dark and Brooding Batmans, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not judging. I'm just saying I've seen too much of it. I'm starting to love the idea of Fruit Pie Batman a lot. I want that smiling, probably waxy-faced idiot.
That's what I liked about when they did the animated series, and then of course with Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
Brave and the Bold.
Oh, Brave and the Bold. Oh my gosh,
Brave and the Bold.
was amazing.
Brave and the Bold was it was a breath of fresh air, and I really liked Justice League and Justice League Unlimited's Batman, which is obviously just an advanced version of Batman the animated series. I mean, I love this Batman. He is like my Batman. He just is. I love that Batman. But I'm starting to get to the point where I want a little bit of serious now and then, but I'm kind of serious out. I don't want bold-faced stupidity, but I'm a little serious out. And it's like why when I watched Superhero Girls, I had a total ball.
Yeah.
I really had fun with Superhero Girls. I'm hoping for a second season.
One real quick, Joe says, gritty fruit pie Batman turns to perky. Y'all be good and look at my big 80s hair female Batman.
I just splash, and like the whole back of the cowl just goes. I mean, an absolute shocking hair explosion.
He suddenly gets leg warmers.
with like the things on the whatever the heck those things are.
Oh man, I can tell you about some 80s girl fashion. I didn't too much care for it, but I have 4 older sisters who grew up who were teenagers in the 80s. I can tell you.
You know, it's funny. When I was younger, I made fun of a lot of stuff. So I'm not judging. I do, however, have a commentary is the wrong word. Observation. I have an observation because I love some of these guys at work, but a couple of them will always joke about stuff, and it's not that they're wrong. I'm not judging them. What I'm saying is when people are always making fun of stuff, are they ever pausing for a moment to go, is the thing I'm making fun of something I might actually enjoy? Or have I just stopped considering things because it's a joke that I can do? And I'm not really going to... Because, for example, and I'm not going to say it's everybody's stuff, because it's not. You'd be like, MacGyver. Okay. Yes, there's some funny stuff happening there. I'm not... But I like MacGyver. Other people like MacGyver. But I can see why people would make fun of it. But what if you grew up in an environment where people only made fun of MacGyver? What if you also made fun of MacGyver, all the jokes, all the memes, all the blah, 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 but then you never actually watched it, and then you never actually found out if you actually liked it or not? And I'm not saying that you can't like something and make fun of it. I'm just saying my observation is I have this feeling that people sort of look at something, they make fun of it, and then they stop, and then they don't find out if what they're making fun of, which may actually deserve to be made fun of. I'm not saying that it's not, but then they don't actually try it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's basically when people help me a lot of stuff that's with a lot of stuff nowadays. People making jokes and memes but have no idea where the base comes from.
Yeah, they might really enjoy the thing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, and it's a for them it's a quick haha. I made people laugh. I'm popular.
That's what I'm saying. And for getting that quick little social point or whatever, they're not actually potentially watching something that they might really like. Now, they may watch it and go, dude, this is bull. Okay, it's bull. It's bull. But at least watch it, you know. This is not the virtual bathroom. Darn straight, because, and it's a good thing, because we are out of virtual toilet paper. Or we're virtually out of toilet paper. By God, which is it? Those are two very different things.
Hey Jim, how's it going, man? Welcome.
How's it going, bud? I want to give it to you.
Let's go give it to you. DMX, he's fun.
I want to give it to you.
One of the times I took the car to get fixed, and I would always go into the lounge area, the quiet lounge, where there was like no cell phones allowed. They had little areas so you could set up your computer and work quietly, except for in chairs you could just sit and read. You didn't have to be in the area with all the televisions and people talking. It was literally sectioned off to be quiet. And virtual bidet is up for it too.
Or is the bidet virtually out of order?
Yes. But so I'd always sit there so I could sit and sketch and stuff, or I'd read any books I brought with me. And so this dude comes in, and he just loudly starts talking on his cell phone. And I mean, he just like literally just blah 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 blah. And it's like, bro, can't you see the signs that are plastered saying no cell phone usage? If you do, please go outside. Like, just it's a quiet lounge. It's literally called the quiet lounge.
Yep.
And so I waited for about 1 or 2 minutes, and he was still going. So I took my phone and pulled up every single loud thing that I can think of right at the moment on YouTube. And one of my selections was gonna be DMX's "Y'all Gonna Make Me Lose My Mind," and I was gonna crank it up really loud. But just when I was about to hit play, he stopped. I'm just like, "Yeah, you're lucky, buddy."
My favorite embarrassing thing, because it's funny, but I don't have a copy of it. First year of college, my roommate, don't know where she got it from. She had a bunch of computer discs, from like computer magazines and stuff. Do not know why this was on one of these discs. No idea. No idea. But every single time we played it, I lost my mind. I could not stop laughing because it's so juvenile. It is shockingly juvenile. It was a woman moaning in pleasure on the edge of orgasming while somebody was farting. And it was like 5 minutes of this. And it's stupid, and it was juvenile, and it exactly slid a key into a lock and unlocked Eric's control. And I would just cry. And I don't have a copy of it, because if I wanted to just like embarrass somebody or something, you just want it on like a button where you put a machine with like a little armored box with a Bose speaker on it, and like an embarrassment grenade. You just hit it and drop it in a room and walk away. And that's what I would have played for that guy. It would have just been in the background. I would have just turned it up.
Yeah, I just did a really quick YouTube search, and of course that actually brings up nothing, surprisingly, on that one. Usually YouTube.
It was so juvenile and stupid. I'm not saying it was clever or genius, but I'm saying it was shockingly effective.
See, Jim says people who talk on speakerphone usually look like they're yelling at a plate of shallow water.
All right, so there I was in the men's room, which is a great way to start almost any story. So there I was in the men's room. I will spare you specific details, but I was doing the biz. In the stall next to me, another man doing the biz answers his cell phone and is talking in the men's room, in the stall, doing his biz. Now, something deep within has been brewing in a foul way. And as he was talking, I decided to respond to him repeatedly. And then go dead quiet and then observe what I had done. As it turns out, he decided to hang up. Experimentation 7B. Success.
Don't you just love, like, out of nowhere social experiments?
Oh, great. They're great. Unless it ends in, like, violence, which is possible.
Jeff played Red Hood and everybody makes you kept going. Like cowboy Turkish yeehaw. Oh, goodness. Wait, how did we get from like Rama to cell phone bathroom.
I have no idea.
And I'm trying to remember
I'm
that
not even
voyage.
going to ask. I'm just going to be like, we did that on purpose. I mapped out the whole thing last night and created a script.
Man, dude, I don't know how we got here, but that must have been a heck of a voyage. You're really cute so far.
It's not bad. Kind of happy considering I haven't done sort of anime manga stuff in a little while.
Jim says, you drawing Rama. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, Cowboy Tortoise. Yeah, it's funny with you and the anime stuff. And, like, and ladies and gentlemen, you're about to hear a story of me and Eric, well, pre-me and Eric, before we met in college. When I first got to the school, the school that we went to, of course, I didn't hardly know anybody, but I was taking the tour around. Of course, I didn't know anyone actually, because I was like whole new town, whole new school, and everything. And so I remember walking down the hall and was getting the tour from one of the teachers, and there was this black and white piece of this anime-esque character, and I just stopped and I just stared at it, and I was like, oh wow, that's a really neat looking piece. It's like, I hope I get to meet the person who did that. Guess who did that? Ta-da!
Who?
It was me, Dio!
Me, Dio. See, now there we go. That's a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier about making a joke and then everyone laughs. Okay, firstly, I'm not snobbing on the whole "it's me, Dio." That is funny stuff. I'm not. What I'm saying is there's people out there that go, "It's me, Dio," and then they recognize the image, but then they never actually watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, and I'm not saying that they would enjoy it. Again, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, what if they're laughing at it, but then they never actually go watch the thing?
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's basically just it's taking the whole how do I have it? Basically taking a bite of the food and not knowing how it was made or who made it, just taking a bite and going, oh, this is what it is, and then just leaving.
Well, it's also the whole thing of ha 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 ha, now I'm going to stop thinking.
Yeah, I made the funny joke. Am I part of the crowd now?
Yeah, and it's kind of robotic and automatic. And again, I'm not judging anybody. I'm just, and I'm not saying that you have to know JoJo's before you can make that joke. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I think there's a lot of people out there that they kind of get stuck to like, and we'll just use Dragon Ball Z as an example because it's antiquated. It is.
That's why we always go back to Dragon Ball Z.
But but it's a good example. But there's an equivalent of everything. There's people out there that are stuck on one or two things, and instead of trying something new, they'll absorb a bunch of memes and be like, isn't JoJo's funny because the men are effeminate and in blah blah blah, and then it's me, Dio, and I'm like, have you seen it?
Yeah.
And I'm not, again, people may not like it. There's stuff in JoJo's that people have no logical reason to like.
Well,
Though they might like it, I'm just saying it.
that is literally the society of social media. It's connecting with people through means that like you wouldn't normally connect with people and stuff. I mean, a great example of that, and I know I've talked to you about this. I don't know if I've actually said this on public. Probably over at this point 12 years ago, there was an artist that I followed, and he was talking about a convention that he went to where he literally was there because he was a tattoo artist, and so he was doing some tattoo stuff and all that, but he was there just to mainly just chill out, hang out with friends. But he was also making observations. He just wanted to see. He literally was doing a let's absorb society at this point. And so this convention took place over 4th of July weekend. So normally, so a bunch of people, of course, gathered atop of the convention center and watched the fireworks over the main area because in Pittsburgh, and it was one of the main iconic convention centers, and there's a big river, and they shoot off fireworks off of the river and stuff over there. So he's like, as he's watching the fireworks and people are conversating and all that, he's like, it's one of the craziest things. He's like, people were not talking amongst themselves; they were talking to each other in memes, and in chunks of
Pre-existing dialogue.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically. And he was like, it was the weirdest thing because it's like somebody would say a meme, everyone would laugh, haha, yeah, you made you inserted the clever joke at the right time and all that, and that
You
was
scored a point.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that was he's like watching that going, this is one of the most weirdest phenomenon. It's cool, but it's kind of sad at the same time because no one was talking to each other.
Yeah.
It was just, like you said, inserted pre-dialogue.
Yeah, which is, and again, for some people, that's a useful thing to do. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, it's a shame when it kind of ends there. That's what I'm saying. I think.
Yeah. I'm catching up on the. See, Joe says this is why I watch. Conversation never goes off the rails. And Jim says Rumiko, my favorite. Yay. Joe says cool college sweethearts and they're still together. Yep, yeah, pretty much. And we've been married for 15 years. We've been together for 22. So.
Yeah. And by the way, if people think it's been easy, it hasn't.
Yeah.
It's something that you have to work at. It's tough.
We have our ups and downs, just pretty much like any other couple.
Because I am busted. I am a broken person, and she is a saint. I'm fairly certain that will be written on my gravestone. Eric Whalen, here lies a busted person. His wife is a saint, and there's an arrow pointing to the left.
And mine just says, "Yep."
Yep. And then there's an arrow pointing down the corner. There's a little tiny embossed sculpture. It is me, Dio.
I still think my favorite iteration of that meme was somebody like put little. There was like a sweater, like a lady wearing a sweater and it had a zipper part over the nipple area, and then the zipper was unzipped and it was a picture of Dio, and it's like, you thought you were going to see nipples, but it was me, Dio. I don't know why that made me laugh so hard.
A friend of mine was like, it was during work. He sent me a JPEG real quick. He's like, dude, I bought this for my brother for Christmas, and it's a wallet. And you open it up and it says, you thought you were getting a wallet for Christmas, but it's me, Dio. And I was like, wow, that's an expensive way of pulling a joke. Good job. If you're going to do it all the way.
Alright, catching up on the stream again. Joe says, taking a bit and swallowing immediately as opposed to savoring the bit to get to the flavor. In other words, get to the context of life. Yep, yeah, that's good, exactly. Jim says, Eric and Lashida's sweet romance. Poor old Jimmy has no pants. And I misspelled Lashida. That's all good, man. Eric and Lashida's sweet romance. Poor old Jimmy has no pants.
Asterisk, I misspelled Lashida.
That's alright, bruh. I know what you meant. Oh man. But yeah, we're talking about the one guy. Yeah, he's like it was interesting, and the funny thing is I've actually like societal studies and sociological studies are one of my favorite mind things to actually study, like going into crowds, looking at crowd watching and seeing how people react to life. I actually love doing that as my own personal just thing to like one of my weird hobbies and stuff. And so yeah, I've actually noticed that too, like throughout especially within the past like 20 years or so, as internet society basically is now crossing over to real society, and how it's like people are just bringing internet space into meat space and then expecting everyone else to kind of meet space with them.
Well, I actually think it's okay. I actually think it's neither good or bad. I think we are. starting at roughly our generation to the current kids growing up, maybe even a little further, there's like a flux thing happening because a bunch of obvious changes have happened to humanity in an extremely short period of time, of a nature that I don't think humanity was built to adjust. So there's things simply happening right now. For example, like meme communication. I mean, it's just, you end up going like, is it good? Is it bad? I'm not saying it's either. I'm saying things are changing over and it's going to evolve us not just by itself, but like other stuff. It's going to kind of evolve us into wherever we're going. And I think that's going to probably in its completion way after we're dead. But I end up looking at stuff just going like, if anyone thinks that what's going on as of the last 20 years and currently is normal, no, everything is bizarre right now and has been for just decades. As a matter of fact, probably most of our lives has been really strange.
Well, and that's
And I
also,
think the internet is a big chunk of it.
oh, absolutely, and that's the thing though. We see it as strange because we see where it came from and where it's going. While the people who are in this is completely normal life for them.
But that's
And
what I'm
it's-
saying
and
is,
the perception is really it's kind of a neat thing to look at with that.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is, by the time that they age another 20 years,
Yep, they're gonna-
they are going to start seeing the same thing.
Exactly.
Not the same thing, a similar thing where they're like, wait,
They're going
what?
to see their version.
Their version of it. Yeah, it'll be the same in the way that it is they're seeing this flux rolling or changing or whatever it is. Because there's a whole lot of stuff that people think is normal on the internet, and to the old rules, it's not normal at all.
Right.
And I'm not saying that it's good or bad. I'm just simply saying like why do the old school people not get this? It's like the old school people don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
This is entirely new to them. They don't get it.
Yeah.
You know.
Joe says, now I want to see season 1, Jonathan. Joe stars JoJo again because of this episode. And then Jim says, 69, 420, 24/7, LOL, YOLO, yeet. It's like the one thing.
Yes, there you go. You have it exactly.
Yeah, it was like the one thing I posted a while back that somebody was like, when they're like, when I was a kid in the 90s, I never understood why did they think that we were going to talk weird in the future, and then it's like now like 30
Yeah.
something years later, it's like like, yo, TikTokers, we gotta yeet the alt-right, the Zoomers are coming in.
Yeah.
And I laughed so hard that I was just like, yep.
Well, there's also like other stuff. Like there's just people are just like, it's like the old thing where, I guess we could call it maybe witch hunting, because witch hunting has been around for a while. She's a witch. Next version. She's a communist. Next version. I mean, go on the internet. You're going to find a bunch of them where one group of people is demonizing another group of people. And chances being that group of people haven't done anything to deserve it. It's just sort of a social dynamic I think that humans just do, unfortunately. And with the internet, I think it amplifies it considerably. Now, I'm not saying there aren't people out there that aren't doing bad stuff. I'm just saying that I think that I think it's now witch hunting. You know what I mean? Where it's like team play on a monstrous level. It's just sort of a human dynamic that's been amplified by, social media and blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that there aren't bad things. I'm saying that in of itself is kind of frightening to me.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you have a person getting blamed for something in a town, village, whatever, or in a community, you have that community. And now with social media, you have millions of people that belong to that community. And to have all of those people, or at least a good chunk of them, suddenly pointing at somebody saying this is a bad thing, and they have no idea what it's even about, which brings, of course, the conversation earlier about people not knowing stuff. They're just hopping on the bandwagon, basically.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, I think it's more bandwagoning than witch hunting, and it turns.
Maybe that's more correct.
Yeah, and it's
But they're kind of similar in a way.
It one goes into the other,
Yeah.
basically, and it's like people wanting to belong, wanting to be a part of something, wanting to be part of the winning team, no matter if it's winning or not. They just want to be part of a community.
Well,
And if,
it's empowering to demonize something that isn't yourself,
yeah,
regardless
oh,
if
yeah.
that thing is actually dangerous or not.
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes it is, but
Yeah, absolutely, and it's unfortunately when you have a bunch of young people who are just, like I said, again, wanting to be a part of something and seeing.
it's seductive
Yeah.
as hell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Jim says, what that make them good? They're not good. They just know how to hide. Joe says you just described cancel culture in nice words. Yeah, and I was thinking the words cancel culture, but
Yeah.
um,
And I'm sure there's 100 other forms of it
Yeah.
too. Like, for example, and I'm not saying that these groups don't have good or bad people in it, but when any Republican like person or any Democrat like person goes after the other group, but doesn't do it because the other group did something measurably wrong, just did it because they're supposed to, like a team sport.
well,
You know what I mean?
Well, it's,
And
it's
that's why I try to stay out of that stuff, because I look at it and I go, it's sort of like a super dangerous version of the Coke Pepsi, kind of like, Ford Chevy argument. It's just like you're just picking a team and being angry at the other one.
Apple, PC, blah blah. I mean, it's all silly. And again, like, just people just want to be part of something, and unfortunately, it gets put into dangerous aspects when it goes too far. But yeah, Jim says, me, I always tell the truth even when I lie. So say goodnight to the bad guy. It's the last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this. But yeah, anyway, back to our regular scheduled
It's been
program.
a long week. We're just sort of rambling at this point.
Yeah. I'm glad that I'm on the mend. Hopefully,
Yeah.
as I say, hopefully, Christmas is coming up, so I just want to be good for that. Moment of hate from Orwell's 1984.
Yeah, I tell you what, Joe. I reread. Actually, I re-listened because I very much like audiobooks. I can do artwork while I'm listening. I re-listened to 1984. It felt incredibly relevant.
I'm about to say, it's very telling, isn't it?
Incredibly. I mean, not to a minor degree, but to a shocking degree. I was sitting there half the time. Okay, it is a dark, I don't quite know exactly if the word nihilistic is exactly accurate, but maybe it is a dark tale, but its contents, especially, the what speak. It's,
Yeah, it's been a while since I've
the speak stuff in it, where they're censoring out words and changing things, and I'm getting the wrong word.
yeah, unfortunately I can't remember.
But yeah, it's just all the stuff in it is just. I actually kind of think that it should be almost required reading for people at this point. Newspeak. Where they're going in and they're steadily changing the human language into something incredibly simple, and they're removing words and ideas, and they're censoring stuff, and they're changing the definitions of words, and by the time they're done, they're like, it's going to be great. Basically, no one can ever think for themselves again. And I'm going like, this is heartbreaking. And the funny thing is and I read it when I was younger, and I was like, dude, this is metal, but now I'm like, with the internet, I'm kind of going like, 1984 is kind of a hyper important work in my mind, because there was stuff being said there, like just in things that were happening. It was just too familiar. It was way too familiar to some of the stuff that I've kind of seen and witnessed, and I'm like,
Yep. There was a reason why a lot of people had been bringing it up over the past few years and stuff, and making the comparisons. And yep.
it's serious. There's some serious serious equivalence there. Plus, it's dark and it's uncomfortable to read. It really is, but it's also like an interesting read beyond that. Like I think it actually is pretty good science fiction. And it's sort of science fiction. It's not exactly. It's sort of science fiction without being science fiction.
Science future?
Yeah, because it was sort of a futuristic. It's more retro sci-fi, I guess, because there wasn't many sci-fi elements in it. But at the time, that stuff must have been science fiction.
Well, it's its own category. It's Orwellian.
But it is. It is.
That's what See, Joe says, kind of right about it being metal. I never thought of it that way.
It is because it's that dark nihilistic dude. It's totally metal. Society's trying to crush me. You know.
And then Jim says Orwell's literary allegories are best articulated through either the music or David Bowie or Kids Bop. Please, no Kids Bop.
Kids Bop.
I don't want to hear Kids Bop of 1984.
Oppression, bop. Awesome. But I mean, for example, there's this spot, and I was like, damn, dude. Where the main male character, he's 30, he's 40, he's 50, he's older. I can't remember his age. There's this girl that is seemingly watching him, and I think she's in her lower 20s. And so he thinks, if I recall correctly, she's going to turn him in. What it is she's interested in him, but it's difficult for people to socially do stuff in this society. So in the text, he's talking about how he was planning to rape and murder her and get rid of the body to protect himself. And I just went, wow. You know, like it was just matter of fact like that. And, you know, you could see the cold sort of, she's going to turn me in. I should get rid of her, hide the body, blah, blah, blah. But it added that extra layer where you're like, jeez. And that's what I kind of mean about, and I'm not saying like that's good stuff about metal, but there's dark stuff in metal. And 1984 is kind of like this nihilistic dark metal story. You know, it's just, it just goes to places where you're like, wow. Especially the end. The end is so dark.
Well, I'm trying to think of happier things. So
I know. And it's. I'm sorry. It has been a hell of a week. Matter of fact, I'll be real honest with you. Sitting down, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to draw anything because I was kind of burnt, and I'm glad I'm kind of getting stuff out. So.
Yeah. The show is therapy. So, you know.
I know, it's like a robot chewing on something. It's so good.
gum.
I'm a little lost on this one. I'm a little lost on that one. I'm, however, trying to get 1984 and Kids Bop out of my mind. And I'm having a hard time doing it.
I'm just laughing at the fact of Kids Bop, of them taking knowingly adult songs
And sometimes really, really adult songs.
and making the kid-friendly versions of them, and I'm just like,
I don't get it.
yeah, yeah.
It's like, we're going to do the Kids Bop version of War Pigs by Black Sabbath. And you just go like, why? I like War Pigs by Black Sabbath. But why would you do that?
I'm trying to think of one in particular. There was one, like, a few years ago where somebody was like, it was one of the newer, like at the time, one of the popular, well, of course popular, more hip-hop songs or so, and they made a Kids Bop version of it, and I'm trying to remember what it was, but everybody was just like, what? Why would you do that? Like, no.
They do like Kids Bop of WAP.
No.
Which, by the way, I'm never giving up my heavy metal version of it. I can't help it. It's addictive. It's just amazing. I need to find.
It's really pointing against mixing for a brainwashed society.
Does sound like disturbing and
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, you just hit moments.
Well, they gotta make money some way.
Kids Bop, does a whole Slipknot album. You're just like, and they're all like in like little cute Halloween versions of the outfits, and you're just like, done. I'm done.
Retro Kids Bop does 2 Live Crew. I'd listen to it just for the sheer entertainment value.
That would be something. Just for the rework they would have to do. Wow. Yeah.
Hey there, kids. It's your Uncle Luke.
Well, and the thing is, I'll be honest, and it's from my perspective. I get that those are meant for kids. I'm not stupid. I know Kids Bop is for kids. But when I hear it, it's usually just creepy. You just end up going like, they're all so happy and tiny and they're moving around really fast saying things. I'm getting old! Like, oh my God! It's a nihilist. And all the nihilists happens for you can be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. When Hanson first came on the scene with MMMBop, I actually liked it, and I actually got like the CD single of it, and then I was just like, why did I do this?
Well, I think everybody should be able to watch and listen to stupid stuff if they feel like it.
Yeah, and the thing is, I thought it was a cute little happy. It was a cute little happy.
It's
pop
exactly
song.
it's bubblegum.
Yeah, and it was like, I was like, oh, this song makes me a little happy,
Yeah.
and then after a while, I'm just like,
Yeah.
And then it started getting played everywhere, and then all the jokes started coming in, and I'm just like, at that time, I was like, we're gonna use this as a coaster.
Yeah. 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 I hear you.
Oh man.
It's sort of like a friend of mine at work. His daughter currently, actually, I should say, in the last 5 years, got into Bon Jovi, and he's like, as bubblegum rock goes, it's pretty good. He's like, but it's bubblegum rock. I'm like, yeah, it's what it is. I mean, I'm not going to judge it. You like it, Hanson or Bon Jovi, or that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it is bubblegum rock. I mean, it's it's what it is.
And honestly, Bon Jovi is not bad.
No, there's different levels of bubblegum rock, but it's bubblegum rock. I mean, it's like Smash Mouth, bubblegum. Oh, serious. They were like, real bubblegummy. Actually, maybe a little bit more college rocky, but
Yeah,
it was
they're
pretty
college
bubblegum.
rock.
It was pretty like, everyone get out on the street and just sort of bounce, Bubblegum, it's cool.
Yeah, it's college party rock.
Mini Bop's children performing pop music on the BBC. I can see that. I can see them all like in little mod suits. Well, the Brits are really into the suit thing. Or really messed up costumes.
If they didn't eat their meat, would they get their pudding?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. You must eat your meat before you can have any pudding.
Okay. 'Cause you won't have any pudding if you don't
Yeah.
eat your meat.
Red Hot Chili Peppers is another one, and it's like Spice Girls. Spice Girls is like double bubble gum. They're like double they're like hubba
Yes.
bubba double bubble gum.
Red Hot Chili Peppers bubblegum. I don't know. I wouldn't call them bubblegum. Red Hot Chili Peppers. They actually had some pretty decent. I don't want to call them protest songs, but
Okay.
yeah, a lot of their.
I guess I didn't hear those.
No, you didn't. Oh, yeah.
Okay, fine. Aqua. Aqua. Triple double bubble gum. They have a Barbie song, which, by the way, I also kind of dug the heavy metal version of, but that was just me. So
Yeah, the pseudo Rammstein version
no, it was
by the one guy.
by Frog Leap Studios on Facebook, and I've actually been getting it. Not everything, just a handful of the stuff that dude does, and he does like really heavy metal versions of stuff, but he has fun doing it. And he did Barbie Girl, and I'm not going to go back to it, but I was kind of going like, it's kind of fun, blah blah blah. WAP was amazing.
Alright, so Jim says, well, a few select people thought Mini Pop was controversial because they dressed the girls up with makeup. Oh, jeez. Ironically, that was nowhere near as bad as child pageants. Yep. Jim says, they are Slayers. No. Or AC/DC. Yeah, and the thing is, different categories, because different strokes, different folks.
Yeah. And the thing is like, the super heavy stuff, I don't expect people to like that. I like quite a bit of it. I still don't like all of it. And super bubblegum stuff, again, it's like, if that's what you're into. I don't try to make fun of country western people. I don't get most country western. I mean, I get some of it. And the stuff that I get, I'm like, that's pretty good. But most of it, I'm just like, I don't own a truck, a dog, or my wife has left me. I don't even drink beer. So, hate to use stereotypes, but whenever I hear country western music, it actually really is involving some of that stuff. Or badonkadonks for whatever reason. Not sure what's up with that, but whatevs. All right. Gonna slap things. Oh, all right. So, this is either uncomfortable or kind of hot. I'm not really sure what it is.
Well, she's crying. It's a little uncomfortable.
Maybe she's thanking God. It is Ron Buffett. I'm just saying.
Oh, great potato god in the sky.
Oh, great. Oh, great head.
Oh, great floating head in the sky.
Let's all thank headism for this Ranma summer eternal kiss in this year's sketchbook. Awesome.
Yikes.
I have too many friends into Danzig and Slipknot. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it. I love it when somebody's into one specific kind of music and then they snob on another, and I just end up looking at them going like, it's like when any heavy metal person makes fun of another genre of heavy metal, I just go like, really? It's like, all right. And I love me some heavy metal, and even I'm like, okay. Show me what you got. I did that in one shot. shot. I'm kind of proud. I didn't even look at it.
That's because you weren't thinking about it.
I know. I was too busy showing him what I got. All right. Well, you guys have yourself a good week. We will catch you later.
Thank you guys. We'll see if we're gonna stream next week because next week is Christmas. We might stream, so we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyways, if not, you guys have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And all the other wonderful holidays.
Take care. Wash your hands. Sanitize.